Hey, good morning, everyone. Pleasure to see so many of you here today. We're going to be running through some tips and tricks for your SEO and your on-site search strategy for your online stores. So you're going to be with me. I'm Sam. I head up the UK market here at Doofinder. For those of you that don't know, Doofinder is a site search technology. Simply put, we make sure your product search delivers the results you and your visitors want to find so they can buy. So things like misspellings will be a thing of the past, and you have nice, precise, fast results to boost your conversions when it comes down to the visit to the site search. And then we have our expert speaker, Luke Carthy. He started off as a boy in e-commerce at the age of 16 and hasn't looked back since. So it's safe to say he knows a thing or two about e-commerce and loves anything related to e-commerce sales growth. So I'm sure you guys are going to learn a couple of things to take home this morning. So a big thank you to Luke, and I'll pass it over to you, Luke, to get started.
Cheers, Sam. Yeah, awesome introduction. Thank you very much. So, yeah, it's like 10 a.m. here in the UK. Welcome from wherever you are in the world. Sun is shining. I'm in a good mood, and yeah, let's get started. So, a few things. Let me get my my presentation on, guys. Without further ado, let's get into what you came for. So how to optimize your site search. That's what's important, right? So first of all, who am I? As Sam's already introduced, yes, I live, breathe, eat, sleep e-commerce. It's what I do, it's what I love, it's what I adore, and site search is very much a part of that. Work with all sorts of clients across many different industries, whether it's B2B e-commerce or B2C or pharmaceutical or agriculture or whatever. There's all sorts, and I love all stems and walks of life in the world of e-com. So to get into it, I want to kind of share a few examples with you of things that we've done with site search in the past to really make things different. So site search, URLs, 4 million of them removed and counting from the Google index. So what I mean here, just to be clear, predominantly talking about SEO for the moment, is 4 million of those URLs have been disappeared and they're counting. And as a result of taking those 4 million URLs out of the index, there's a 30% increase in month-on-month organic traffic. Incredible. So less URLs in Google's index, increase in organic traffic. Chemist Direct, another client that I've worked with in the past, 800,000 search URLs removed and a 20% increase in year-on-year organic traffic. So again, really good to see, some good numbers. And this isn't a coincidence, right? We've done this before. I've done this before for Caterpillar. So 4 million plus search URLs removed and an 18% increase in year-on-year organic traffic. Now, don't worry too much if this doesn't make a fat lot of sense. I will get into the meat of this in just a while. But yeah, poor site search can create issues. And that's really important to kind of get into. So there's all these issues that potentially site search can create. We've got countless new URLs, keyword cannibalization in the world of SEO. It impacts your conversion in UX, duplicate content, link equity, all sorts of things. There's a lot of different problems that having your site search URLs indexed by Google and other search engines can cause a massive problem. And I'd love to talk to you about all of these, but one, you've probably only got so much time, and two, you'll end up falling asleep. So I'm going to focus on just these top three, the most important ones today. Yeah, so can generate countless amounts of URLs, keyword cannibalization, and how SEO and site search, if you get it wrong, can impact conversion and user experience. So let's look at a real world example just to help you make sense of what it is I'm talking about this morning. Richer Sounds. Now, if you don't know, Richer Sounds are one of my favorite retailers. I'm a gadget man myself. I love audio. I love, I'm a bit of an audiophile in that sense. I love big TVs like most geezers, I suppose. And yeah, Richer Sounds is one of the largest retailers in the UK. So this is their website. And what you can see here is we have these filters. And of course, if you have site search or categories on your e-commerce site, these will be immediately recognizable to you. So we've got, bear me a second, I'm fighting with animations here. For some reason, animations have jumped into my presentation, but there we go. So what you can see here is these filters. Now, each one of these filters on many websites can create URLs. In this case, there's 115 different filter URLs on this single page alone, right? So if we go to this category, to site, richersounds.com/TV projectors in Google, we can see that Google has 548 results in its index for that one category alone. It's a lot of URLs. A lot of them are probably completely unnecessary. So going back to this for a second, we can see that that's 65,000 possible filter URLs in just one single category. Now that's ridiculous. Google doesn't care, and Google doesn't need to know about 65,000 URLs. It's a big problem when it comes to SEO and allowing search engines to understand what it is you sell, your products, your categories, and that sort of thing. They need to go. They need to be removed. So let's talk about another example of bad site search SEO. Argos. Now again, Argos, huge UK retailer here on the high street and have an online presence as well. So a fairly unanimous brand in the UK, if you're not familiar. But they've got a big problem as well, right? They've got 4.5 million total pages in Google's index, just search URLs. 85,000 products in Google's index. So 4.5 million total pages, 85,000 products, 101,000 site search URLs. Now, these are just bloating out the index. They're not good. So let's compare search URLs to categories for a second to give you the idea of the context and why they make a difference. So Argos's category structure, if you like, on its website is anything that's /browse, and anything that's its search results is argos.co.uk/search. Makes sense? Nice and easy. Now, what's crazy here is you can see that the search URLs have 101,000 and the categories you've got 28,000. So there's almost 4 times as many search URLs than there are category URLs. Interesting. But if we take a look into the SEO of this for a second, so this is Ahrefs, a really cool, powerful SEO tool that I love, I adore, and if you're ever wanting to get into the world of SEO, it's a great tool to start and get into things. But what I want to kind of talk you through here is /browse. We've got 30.8. I'm pointing to my screen as if you guys can see this at home, but I've got 31,000 backlinks to browse. But what's really interesting here is the amount of organic traffic you get. So you can see 5.2 million organic traffic is received to browse to the proper categories. But if we look at the search URLs, which again is causing bloat and search engines don't really need to know about, you've got more than twice as many backlinks, but less organic traffic. So this is clear as day that Google prefers category URLs to be indexed over search URLs. And it proves that indexing search URLs doesn't really have that much benefit. And even if we look at the traffic value, right, you can see here on the browse URLs that $3.3 million of traffic value for categories, yet for search URLs, it's almost a third, right? So search URLs just cause bloat. They slow things down. They make search engines more difficult to find the good parts of your site, your proper products, your proper categories. And there's other issues as well. So in this particular example, category URLs have 75% less in terms of the quantity of URLs, but they yield almost 3 times more revenue than search URLs. Now, just to be clear, I'm only talking specifically here about the world of SEO. No, not talking about site search as a tool or as a software and that sort of thing. We'll get onto that in a little while. So this is purely from an SEO point of view. So let's take a closer look at what's going on here. So if I go to Argos in Google Search and I do a search for smart TV, which is still now a popular keyword that Argos ranked competitively for, there's 2,370 URLs for the keyword smart TV. And this is just for Argos, right? This is just for one website. But what's interesting here is what you can find is that for the top URL, the first one, you can see results for smart TV, Argos, and that's the search URL, right? But the landing page isn't great because what happens is you get search results. Now, for someone looking for a smart TV, that's pretty vague. What size? How much are they looking to spend? What brand? Are they in the special features that they need? And that sort of thing. But what it really should look like is this. This should be the landing page that people see when they click search for smart TVs and they come from Google and go to your website, which is like new TVs, promotions, banners, all sorts of things in this capacity. It makes a lot of sense. So just to kind of echo and emphasize on this particular point, we're in a situation now where URLs make up 22% for categories, and search URLs make up 78%. But what you've got for revenue is category revenue makes up 76%, and search revenue only makes up 24%. It's a big deal. So let's take a look at another case study, for example. Bear me a second. We have someone at the door, and I'm just going to let somebody know downstairs. This is live in real time. So yeah, just bear me 2 seconds while I just take care of this. Okay, right. Someone's going. It's cool. Okay, so let's take a look at Toolstation, another case study. 67,000 total pages in Google's index and 16,000 products in Google's index as well. But there's 39,000 search URLs in Google's index. Big problem. And again, exactly the same situation. If you look at the same data again, we've got toolstation.com/search. You can see here, night and day. The search URLs generate £8,600, if you like, dollars, of traffic value. While the /shop, which again is their category structure, has a lot more backlinks in this case and generates like so much more traffic for these guys. So just to reiterate my point here, what I'm trying to say is that category URLs are much better for SEO and provide a much better UX than search URLs when we're talking about SEO, and we're talking about Google and indexing the URLs across your site. So another example here, toolstation.com, searching for toolbox is what they do. But another problem you have here is cannibalization, right? So you've got Toolstation competing with itself directly. It's almost double targeting its own keyword. So here you have the category URL, so shop, ladders, storage tools, and that sort of thing. And here you have the search URL. But you can see that this particular SERP here is more attractive to click on than this one here. This one just has random numbers in it. And it'll be exactly the same when you click through and go to that search page. When you click through and go to the result, what you will actually find here is that the landing page is going to be better for this particular example than it would be for the search results. It just makes sense. So for Toolstation, almost 50% of their site's Google index is search URLs. Ouch. Yet search URLs yield less than 5% of sales and barely any traffic whatsoever. Big problem. So if you're in a situation like this, if you potentially have your search URLs in your index, or if you don't know and you're kind of thinking, oh my God, am I affected by this? Then there's a way that I can help you. There's a way that we can work it out, which is the good news. So what options do you have? And this is a little bit more technical. So if you're in the world of SEO and you love, if you've got an SEO manager who's on the call, or you've got someone in your team who works on SEO, then absolutely ping them these slides after the call. Let them know that these things are available to them. So I won't go into too much detail on this particular slide because there's a lot of information to digest. But if there's one thing you can screenshot this, make it happen. But there's many different ways to go about resolving site search, and that's the point of this table. It depends on the situation that you're in. So what's the best solution for you if you're in the situation where you have your site search URLs in Google's index and available to crawl and that sort of thing? What is the best thing to do? And yeah, as we said, it depends, right? The cliche classic SEO answer, it depends. But to find the best solution for you, I do have some steps you can go through. So the first thing you need to do is size up your search URLs issue. How many URLs do you have in Google's index that are specifically for your search folder? So in Argos example, it's argos.co.uk/search. For your website, it could be, I don't know, example.com/finder or example.com/query s equals, whatever it is. Whatever that structure is for your site search, ping that into Google with a site command at the beginning. And what that will allow you to do is get an understanding of roughly, it's not perfect, but roughly how many URLs Google is paying attention to for your search. You can also then use Deep Crawl or Screaming Frog or Siteboard or whatever flavor of SEO crawler you want to use. And a lot of these have free trials. And what you can do is crawl the site, crawl the entire site, and it will tell you precisely how big of a problem this is for you. Then you kind of know exactly where you are. Another really undervalued tool is Google Search Console. So this is like Google's dashboard for your site. It allows you to understand and kind of gives Googlebot a face. So you can see what URLs are there, how many are going to be a problem, what is the size of the issue. So you can use all those tools. Now, a little while ago, I've given you some screenshots from Ahrefs, a tool that I love. Punch that in, punch your web domain in, and it will tell you if you've got any important backlinks or any equity from an SEO point of view pointing to your search URLs. And again, Google Search Console can do that for you as well. 301 search URLs with worthy backlinks. So what I mean here is when you have search URLs with worthy backlinks, what you want to do is redirect these URLs to better URLs. So if someone is searching for, let's say, use the toolbox, okay, as we used before. Now, yes, toolbox can absolutely be a search result, but probably what it should be, because it's such a broad term, is to point to a category or a subcategory somewhere. So not only is that going to improve the experience and allow the customer to choose their products, it's also going to start to pass the SEO equity to the category. So that improves the rankings of that particular category. Win-win for everybody. Identify your search URLs with organic traffic and sales using Google Analytics to find out the ones that you need to address, and prepare to de-index all other search URLs, the ones that aren't important. What this will do is, going back to my original first few slides where we removed 4 million URLs for Caterpillar, etc., etc. What this is going to do is ultimately improve the equity of your overall site. And by doing that, your rankings go up, your site search is no longer indexed. It makes everything better for your SEO performance. And don't forget about these guys as well, these search filters: brand, price, screen size, screen resolution, whatever it is for you, pack size, color, shape, price, whatever that is, take care of those things as well. Change out your internal links pointed to search URLs. This is a big deal. One of the most undervalued SEO tactics you can leverage is internal links, sorry. So any links that you have on your website pointing to other points on your website. These are huge. These are important. Change them. And if they are pointing to search URLs, then hey, instead find a category URL that is better landing page, better SEO, that sort of thing. Monitor. Keep tabs on your organic traffic. So after you've taken your site search out of the Google index, keep tabs on it. If things are going down, take a look. If things are going up, great, celebrate, win. Keep tabs on the number of URLs in the index. When you remove the site search, what should be happening is the number of URLs in the index go down, which is what you want. And keep an eye on the redirect parameters and server logs. So what you can see here is whether your redirects that you've built are working as they should do, which is, of course, good news. Keep a close eye on your core KPIs. Of course, the principles of business. How much are you selling? Are your average order value still good? Is your conversion rate still consistent? Is it improving, getting worse? If it's getting worse, find out why. If it's improving, find out why. Just keep an eye as you would do normally, but more so when you're making changes to the SEO structure of your site. If an alternative landing page doesn't exist, make one. Like, I cannot comprehend how important and how much of a big deal this is for SEO. So, like, using the toolbox example we had a little while ago, if you don't have a toolbox category, but you've got a lot of people searching for the keyword toolbox, then hey, there's an opportunity there to go and make that landing page. One big one, huge one. A lot of people have asked me, and again, if you're in the world of SEO, can I not just add a robots.txt condition to block my search? No, unless it's a new site launch and it's a brand new website. The answer to this question is always no. And the reason why is, if you block it, Google and other search engines can't understand the changes. So if you've instructed Google to no index a search URL, but you've added robots.txt condition, then what's going to happen here is Google can't see that change. So it gets stuck in limbo. It's kind of a horrible situation to be in. So you don't want to do that. Finally, monitor your future search backlinks that you'll get into search URLs and action accordingly. Redirect those and do what you need to do to make that happen. So SEO is out the way. If you're not into SEO, if SEO is not your thing, if another department takes care of that, then I wanted to talk to you about the last few things about what else you can do to improve your site search. And that is UX, user experience, customer experience. This is the stuff. This is the, I'm not going to say the magic, the secret sauce, but it is kind of the thing that can differentiate you from your competitors. Make it as easy as possible for people to buy, to find what they want. And this is one that I love. So Google Analytics, one of the most underrated tools in the world of internet marketing. What you can absolutely do is work with your development team or work with your in-house dev, or if you're, a bit hands-on yourself in terms of code, then hey, go for it. But fire a Google Analytics event to fire when no results have been found. And this has to be, as an e-commerce consultant, this has to be one of my biggest, quickest wins when it comes to delivering growth and turning around issues for my e-commerce clients. Like, it's big because CXL, a website that many of you may or may not have heard of, cxl.com. It's a brilliant conversion resource. They have done a study that shows that almost a third of people who use websites, e-commerce, will use site search during their journey. So a good chunk of people. And site search, good site search, could influence conversion by up to 50%. So imagine how much of a problem it is if you're in a situation where customers are searching like for popular keywords, such as no results found. Sorry, searching for keywords like, I don't know, hand sanitizer, for example. And you're a company that sells hand sanitizer, but because of a typo or a misspelling or something like that, you've got no results found. You've potentially lost that customer. So AO.com, perfect example. Now I'm just messing about here and decided to type in some ridiculous keywords, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, because why the hell not? And as you can see, no results found, no surprise. But what you can absolutely do here is get a Google Analytics event to fire when no results have been found. So you can understand in GA what particular search queries are not finding results. Is there an opportunity then to look at selling these products? Is it a typo you need to go away and correct and fix and sort it out and that sort of thing? And what I will say is, look, Doofinder does this out of the box. Like, misspellings are kind of taken care of, but this is in a situation where if you don't have Doofinder in your arsenal, then hey, sometimes you don't necessarily have that kind of technology right now. But in a situation like if you've got a Shopify site without any advanced configuration, if you've got a basic WooCommerce site, if you've just joined a big company and they don't really know where to start, then you've been able to get this evidence and prove that this is a problem can help you to get search engines like Doofinder into your roadmap and make it happen. But if you don't have that, then this is the next best thing. So for an event like this, sort of event category, site search, action, no results, label the search term that was used by the user. And what it allows you to do is then confidently answer questions like this, right? What are the items that customers are looking for that we don't sell? Like, in the world of e-commerce, this is a really powerful question. People are searching on your website all of the time in terms of different things. Perfect example. Now, many people trip up on this, and I love this example, but believe it or not, this is the world's second largest manufacturer of security cameras. Now, many people call these different things, like Alhua, so on and so on. But it's a Chinese name. It's difficult to pronounce in English. But what I will say is, because it's so difficult to pronounce, many people spell it in different ways, like this: Dalua, Alua, Dawa, Alua, Dawa, Dahua, right? Like, these are all genuine misspellings that a client have for this particular brand. And it's really important to understand how many different people are searching for it. But the actual way it's spelled is this: D-A-H-U-A. Believe it or not, the red thing is a D. There's no L. I actually thought that was an L, that kind of red thing here, but it's not. So D-A-H-U-A. The logo is pretty difficult. And then you say it not how it's spelled. You spell it like this, Dawa, but it's said Dahua. So, like, think about it, like Leacock Sportif, right? I don't think necessarily they're around anymore, but exactly the same sort of problem. Or Balenciaga, really popular designer footwear brand. I'm pretty sure maybe half the people who wear those things can't spell it. The point is, understanding what typos your customers have so you can improve the UX. What misspellings are we having and how they're searched? And then, more importantly, what non-commerce queries are our customers searching for? So are people looking for customer service? Are they looking for returns policy? Are they looking for, are you open during the coronavirus pandemic? Like, people will search for all sorts of things. If you can understand how people are searching, what they're searching for, and redirect them to the relevant content, you're more likely to get that sale than anybody else. So finally, I've been waffling for a while now. It's my time to be quiet. But what I will say before I go is, if you enjoy optimizing e-commerce, if you enjoy the content I've given you today, I do a series of e-commerce webinars talking about very specific different e-commerce topics, sort of step-by-step tips in terms of how you can grow your e-commerce brand, sell more online, that sort of thing. So if you're interested, lukecarthy.com/LTS to access those webinars. And yeah, I've been Luke Carthy. Thank you very much. Any questions, I am here, and you can find me pretty much anywhere online, website, LinkedIn, Twitter. Thank you very much.
Hey, Luke, thank you. It's good. I learned some good stuff there. I think the no results is a quick quick fix, really, things you can sort of implement really quickly. So I think that's definitely a good place to start for any of you who haven't sort of already thought about that.
Sure.
And Luke, we've got a quick couple of questions then that have come through. So just wanted to, get your opinion, get your answers on that.
Yeah.
So first one is about some. Okay, so we've got from Anchor, but we're going to send over the slide, the slides, the webinar afterwards, so they're going to get that. Next one will be said no index for internal results page? Question mark. So
yeah, so
to
jump on this one, absolutely, like no index for internal search results. So the reason why, just to kind of talk about the logic and maybe some of the science as to why, search URLs are basically black holes for SEO in many cases, because it's completely dynamic, right? Any keyword you throw into that is then exploded by however many parameters you have, how many filter options you have, and then it gets even worse if you can combine filters together. So you might have a website where you can combine red, blue, and green colors. So then you've taken the search term, let's say blouse, and timed it by the power of 3. Then you've got another filter, which could be then size or fit, or, and before you know it, just for one search term, you could have 100,000, 250,000 URLs. It's ridiculous. So what you need is no index, which helps kind of remove them from the index and stop competing. But on top of that, what you really need is no follow as well. So no index just stops search engines from indexing search URLs, but what it doesn't do is stop them from crawling them. The underlying problem that you're trying to fix is to prevent search engines from crawling and wasting crawl quota on search URLs. So it's no follow, no index. But you only want to no follow, no index once you've redirected your important URLs first. So to kind of distill that answer down, no index first, for sure. Get those out of the search engine indexes, redirect the ones that you are important, the ones with backlinks and so on. Then no follow, no index, everything else. And what will happen is your URL count will drop and your equity will be spread better across the site, and typically your traffic will improve as a result.
Cool. And we got one more from Andy Robson. So if you redirect a search URL with external backlinks, obviously to maintain any link equity, would that not mean that any website user who might happen to undertake a search result which would generate said URL then be redirected to? Yes.
Yeah, it would. And this is why I say it really depends on the situation, because if it was like a really specific search term, like say a product code, right? So especially if you're in B2B or you work off a catalog or you resell other people's products, like say Currys or Best Buy or something like that, people search a lot by specific manufacturer part codes. Now that's going to be a very specific query. So redirecting that to an item isn't going to be a problem, because it's probably the only one item they're looking for. But then if they're searching for something really broad like TVs, then that's where it starts to become problematic, because that's broad. What is the context there? So if you are in a situation where a search term is broad or it's a search term you don't have a category for. This goes back to my slide where I said create one, create that experience where that landing page exists. Then you redirect it. So not only will the SEO improve, but the experience will improve as well. What you absolutely don't want to do is be in a situation where you have a search query with backlinks, redirect it to a best case scenario that isn't very good, and then you kind of end up disappointing and frustrating the customer and losing sales as a result. So it's kind of identify the URLs with backlinks first, create the experience you need to create that's not in search, then redirect it. But in a perfect situation, you wouldn't necessarily have any backlinks to your search URLs anyway if your site structure was done right, because people would then link to categories, product URLs, and that sort of thing. So yeah, these are kind of guidelines, but every situation is different. It's a tricky one.
Okay, we got another one coming in. So basically, what should be the best advice in regards to SEO if you're just starting out as an e-commerce website? So what would be your top tip?
Internal linking structure is like big. Get that right. That can be really rewarding. Get that wrong, and it can make things really difficult for you. Equally, if you're starting from scratch, then this presentation that I've just presented is a big deal. Like, don't let your site search into the index in the first instance. Add a robots.txt exception for that because it's brand new. You haven't got any legacy search URLs there. And finally, what I would say is make sure your product URLs are independent of your category URLs. And what I mean by that is some websites have like example.com/category name /product name. Now that becomes a problem if that product is added to more than one category, whether that's a sales category or added to a second category across the site. So what you really want for product URLs is example.com/product name, and that's it. No category data in there at all. That means you can add a product to as many categories as you want without having to worry about duplicate URLs and all that kind of nonsense that comes along with that situation. So internal linking structure for sure, making sure your site searches and indexed, and yeah, that's the big one.
So we got another one from Andy. He said, "What are your thoughts on keeping out of stock products on the site? Would you exclude them from the site search?"
I've done a presentation.
Luke, I was going to say, Luke, what I'd recommend to my my customers is obviously if it's going to come back into stock, then keep it there. Basically, you can with things like Doofinder, you can obviously use sort of like boosting tools to devalue the score while it's out of stock. So maybe it's going to show lower down the list, so you're showing in stock products first. But if it's going to come back into stock, then I'd keep it there. I don't know what you'd say, Luke.
That. I love that. That whole de-indexing based on stock is brilliant. Because again, those broad search terms, the last thing you want to be doing is searching for like 40-inch TV, and then the first things you're seeing is like 4 out of stock items. It makes a lot of sense. But I've done a whole episode and a whole webinar on my e-commerce webinar series about discontinued products. It's the whole shebang, all the FAQs and everything. So go and check that out. But to kind of distill and reiterate those points here, then ideally discontinued products should not be removed. Now, what I will say, there's a distinct difference between removing a product from the website and removing a product from search engines. To give you an example, let's say the Samsung Galaxy S9, right? Like an oldish phone. There's still demand for it. People still want the manuals. There's a used market for it. There's a lot of demand. And a lot of brands, what they'll do is they'll redirect the S9 to the S10 or whatever the latest phone is. But the problem you have there is I'm a customer who's looking for the S9. I don't want the S10. So why would I click on the S9 to be redirected to another product altogether? It doesn't make sense. What you want to do is provide an experience where you kind of land on the discontinued item and it says, hey, this item's no longer available. Why don't you go away and check out these alternatives? We've got this brand new product that replaces it. We've got these items from the same brand. And to give you an idea of a couple of brands that are doing this really well, one is John Lewis. Take a look at their site, dig up some discontinued products and see their experience. And finally, eBay. That is their entire business model. Like, imagine like their auctions run and discontinue all of the time. I think the maximum listing day you can have is like 30 days. And even then, that's probably for classifieds. My point here is eBay do not delete their listings because people have watch lists. People are watching these items. There's rare items that get a lot of press, a lot of PR. You know, Paris Hilton selling her hair or something freaky like that, and then it gets on the page 1 of the Sun and everything. There's a lot of link equity there. The last thing they want to do is delete those things and stop that from happening. So check out eBay and see how they do it. Check out John Lewis. Yeah, there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to handle discontinued products.
Perfect. And we're going to go with just one more for you, Luke. So this is from Gregor. Basically, the best thing to do is to replace search sites by Doofinder and redirect to categories. So what was about the search results page with a canonical link?
A canonical link. Okay, yeah. So let me just distill this question down a little bit. So basically, the best is to replace search site by Doofinder and redirect to categories. Okay, not always, right? Like you can't just go and send all your site search terms to categories. That will just offer a terrible experience. I'm just talking about the ones that have backlinks. The search URLs that have SEO equity need to be redirected. So like if you have, to use a very specific example, if someone is on your website searching for jeans and jeans has no equity at all as a search term, there's no need to redirect that, because what you're going to do, like it's not going to help. That's from an SEO point of view. But from a UX point of view, you might actually want to redirect it. You might actually realize that showing search results for jeans shows like 400 results, and then it's just like cumbersome and difficult. Why not send that user to a category page where they can choose whether it's men's, women's jeans they want, what kind of fit or brands? Like, it's cliche as heck, and I'm really sorry to keep saying it, but it genuinely just depends on the situation you're in. What is the demand? Do you have the product? Is there a few products that are returned, or is there loads of products that overwhelms the customer? What is it like on an SEO standpoint? And is there any equity that you need to pass somewhere else? I think really it's a case by case, because it really depends on what the client wants. You know, a granular search term for a specific item, like someone searching for 43-inch UHD Samsung TV, there's a chance that that's really good to just leave as a search result, because there's probably going to be like 12 items there or something. But someone searching for just TV and showing like 500 results, there's just no point in doing that, because it's subpar. It's not a great experience. Sending them to a category page where they can see all the latest deals, browse all the content from different brands, see the latest releases, the clearance lines, and select what they want from there is a much better experience than just showing them 600 search results. That's typically how these things work. So yeah, horrible to summarize it, but it depends on the situation. It really does.
Would you say, sort of maybe as a rule of thumb, the more generic the search, the better it is to send to a category sort of page, like you mentioned there with like the TV example?
Yeah, in most cases that's the case. And I think that the way to probably look at this, the priority to tackle this, is absolutely think about user experience before you think about SEO, right? Don't play to search engines, like play to your users, because you have to think. A lot of people think that we're slaves to Google, if you like, but really Google's slaves to us, because Google as a tool has to send users to the best website for that particular query. So when you're going on Google searching and stuff, if they consistently get it wrong, they lose customers, they lose money, their paid search model doesn't work anymore. So if you're providing a really good experience for your customers, Google will notice and Google will reward you for it. So building an experience that's better for your customers first, and SEO as a secondary layer rather than the opposite way around. So yeah, if you're in a situation where you have a category that makes sense, then send them there. I think a really poignant example here is Black Friday. You think about the keyword Black Friday. Many brands do it, and to show a search results page with like 5,000 items in, because you've got 5,000 lines in your Black Friday campaign, is terrible. That's not going to help anybody. But sending to a purpose-built Black Friday landing page with discount codes to use, maybe a countdown timer, maybe a breakdown of all the categories they can go and shop, the clearance buckets, all that kind of stuff, is a heck of a lot better than just overwhelming them with like 5,000 items and 500 pages of results.
Yeah, man,
right?
Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we're going to leave it there. There's still quite a few questions that have gone unanswered, but we'll come back via email with them. Depending on if it's Doofinder side or yourself, Luke. But then they will be answered. So if you've questions gone unanswered, just wait a little bit longer, and we'll get back on email. Okay.
No problem.
So, I mean, that's everything from me, Luke. I don't know if you've got something else to add.
No, I guess if you've any questions, the best way to probably reach out to me is on Twitter. Make some noise for Doofinder as well, cracking team. So yeah, any questions, reach out, shout out to me on there. I've got blogs. There's loads of resources, a lot of FAQs I've answered and stuff like that. But yeah, reach out to one of us, whether it's me, Sam, the Doofinder crew, whatever it is, and hopefully we can take care of you. But yeah, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Well, thank you all. And well, we'll be in touch with the questions, and you'll be receiving the playback from the webinar as well. So thank you all.
Awesome. Take care.
All right then. Goodbye.